has taught me how to empathize, how to feel for other people, how to step inside somebody else's shoes and live there for a minute, and to really think more deeply about how that affects how I show up in the world and how I show up for other people and how connected we all are and how similar we all are.
No one is listening. I look around and I see all of these sounds, and I'm standing here in the middle of all of these sounds. And I know, it sounds off-key to everyone else. I can tell because I can viscerally feel the pain everyone around me is in. I can step into the shoes of each person, and I can feel that what it sounds like is loud, angry, clashing on this side, and on this side, and on this side.
Theater for me represents healing because it's a way for us to mirror the human experience, and then for the audience to see that, and then maybe see themselves in that, and then be able to maybe heal a little bit where they might not be able to on their own.
Ni dunia ambayo ina changamoto, ugumu na maumivu mengi sana. Ni dunia ambayo ukitazama kwa jicho la kawaida unaweza usitamani kuishi ndani yake. Ni dunia ambayo kuishi kwake wakati mwingine inaweza kawa ni swala kufa na kupona. Lakini licha ya yote, dunia hii ndio sehemu napopaita nyumbani, ndio sehemu penye familia yangu, ndio sehemu ambapo mpenzi wangu yupo, na dunia hii ndio sehemu ambapo maisha yangu yapo.
You know, I can watch a story that has nothing to do with my life, nothing to do with my experience, and recognize something of myself in that, which means I can recognize something of myself in everyone, which means we're all the same, and like we all have the same underlying heartbeat.
Michael and I arrive in Maloka, eager with anticipation for what lies ahead. The women we're looking for are Asha Dubuga and her mother, Fatuma Nyamazengo, affectionately known as Bibi. The Humanity Project was born after Michael first met Asha in 2016.
So I met Asha one day in the village in Maloka. A community village meeting was organized. The group that I was traveling with asked the village to have everyone come together and talk about what were the needs that the community had, because we were observing so that we could listen to the stories and maybe get some ideas to create our plays.
Kwa hiyo sasa tukaitwa wajumbe wa serikali ya kijiji na wageni ili waje watusalimie ofisini kwetu. Kwa hiyo na mimi nilikuwa mjumbe mmoja wapo. Lakini Michael sikumjua, na simjui kwa sababu walikuwa ni wengi. Kulikuwa na gari kama 5 hivi walikuwepo, walikuwa kundi kubwa.
The entire meeting, maybe an hour or so, people are standing up the whole time, telling the group what the needs of the village are: a school, a guest house, all these different things. And they're all men the entire time. And I noticed that there were no women standing up. And the meeting seemed to be coming to an end, and the very last person who stood up was this woman.
Ndio ilikuwepo hivyo. Kwa hiyo tulikuwa ofisini, mimi nikanyosha mkono, nikasema sisi changamoto hapa kijijini tunaomba tupatiwe kituo cha afya kwa ajili ya kina mama, tunapata shida kwa ajili ya huduma ya kujifungua. Kutoka Mloka mpaka Nyamenyuli ni mbali na gharama ni kubwa, kwa hiyo tulikuwa tunaomba kama inawezekana tupatiwe kituo cha afya kijijini kwetu.
Later that day, when the group got together, the group of artists got together and we talked about what story we wanted to tell, I was very passionate about her story. So I asked Samuel, who was one of our guides at the time, thinking it was probably impossible because I didn't have her name or know anything about her. I basically just said, is there any way that you could find that woman who stood up in the meeting?
In just a few hours, Samuel managed to find the woman. A meeting was quickly arranged between Michael and Asha. With the help of a translator, Michael had the chance to learn Asha's heartbreaking story.
She's ready. And we're sitting at this little meeting place in the village, and she comes in, and I say, yep, that's definitely her. She sits down, introduces herself. I learn her name is Asha. Ask, you know, what made you stand up in the meeting and say that we need a maternity clinic in the village? And she then proceeded to tell me the horrific story of when she went into labor and gave birth.
Nilipata ujauzito na Bwana Patrick, watoto wa mimba, nikapata watoto wawili mapacha. Lakini katika kujifungua kukawa na matatizo. Kwa hiyo nikampata mtoto mmoja ndio Bi Joyce, lakini mwingine tulikosa. Alifariki dunia kutokana na huduma ilikuwa haipo vizuri. Kwa hiyo nilijifungua kimatatizo. Kwa hiyo Joyce nilimzaa nyumbani toka saa 2. Huyo mwingine amekuja amezaliwa saa 10 usiku. Kwa matatizo mtoto ameshakufa kutokana na huduma ya hospitali ilikuwa hakuna.
She led so much herself throughout the whole process because of the delay in getting to the hospital. She almost died herself.
Since that first meeting, Michael and I and the Outer Loop team have returned to Tanzania every year, spending weeks in the village leading the Humanity Project alongside our Tanzanian partners, Samuel, Kapande, and Jackson. Each year, the Outer Loop collaborates with Maloka villagers to identify a key need, creating a play with a local arts group to tell the story. Performed in Tanzania and filmed for U.S. fundraising, this process has funded vital projects like a maternity clinic, health center, wells, and a community market. Now, our team heads to meet the Muungano group to shape this year's play and project.
So we're in Msona right now. We're going to meet with the Msona Arts Group, a few of the core members, and talk about this year's project, maybe look at the market from last year's project, and just generally check in with everyone to see what's going on.
What an honor it has been to get to work with you because of the immense amount of talent and artistry that you bring to your craft. It's really, we learn so much working with you, and something that we've been exploring as a company is this question through the last year really is this question of purpose, and what, especially through our artistry, what is our purpose as artists? We all have, you know, many needs as people. There are needs that are physical needs, like the market, and then there are needs that are in here. And we were, you know, for the heart. So that's what we were we wanted to throw out to the group for discussion is like, how does that sound as like a theme to build around for this year?
The process begins as it usually does, with a discussion between the two groups about the challenges facing the Tanzanian community. But this year, Juma, the artistic director of the Muungano group, along with Musa and Yusuf, two of the group's core members, bring attention to unexpected challenges.
Changamoto za hapa na pale zipo kama ulivyosema kwamba watu yapata maafa, kwa hiyo watu na maana wengine wanaishi katika mazingira ambayo hayapo sawa. Sasa unapotaka kutengeneza jambo ndani ya wiki nzima, kwa hiyo kutakuwa na changamoto za hapa na pale. Hizo changamoto zitakuwa.
Kuna hizo move unataka kucheza. Jamii tuliokuwa nayo sasa hivi kwenye mazingira ya shamba haiwezi kuigiza na tuko nayo kwenye maigizo. Ila tuna watu kwenye kikundi tunaoigiza nao. Ila kwenye shamba huko kwenye mazingira mengine ya kuhusu jamii hatuko nao. Ina maana wanasema hatuwezi kufanya jambo kuwafanyia watu ambaye hawapo ndani ya maigizo. Je, tunasaidiana vipi kwenye hili, kwa sababu ili mradi kundi letu liendelee na sanaa yetu iendelee.
Kwa hiyo ilivyoisha kule, wale vijana wanataka kurudi kule, wakaambiwa stop. Hiki sio kikundi cha ngoma, hii shamba ni la kijiji. Mmechelewa kufika. Amufiki huko. Kwa wale vijana kwa wamevunjika moyo, mbona sisi tunahangaika kwa sababu yenu nyinyi, leo kwa nini tena siku kuchelewa kufika tuionekane hapa sisi hatupo?
Juma also reveals an additional urgent concern. One of the teenage boys from the group has gone missing. Many members of the Muungano group are focused on the search efforts and, as a result, are unable to begin this year's play creation process until he is found.
Vijana walienda kwenye utafutaji. Kwenye utafutaji, kwa hiyo utafutaji wetu mgumu. Kwa kwenye utafutaji kwa kwenda kutafuta, ikatokea yani kuna kupushani za hapa na pale. Wakawa wamekimbizana wenyewe kwa wenyewe. Yani waliwakimbia ng'ombe. Yani wao walikaa hivi, wameanika samaki wao. Kwa hiyo nyati huko walipotoka sio wamekimbizwa sio na simba, sio wamejiachia nyati poli. Kwa hiyo nyati poli anaga masiara na mtu. Wao walivyoona wakawa wamekimbia. Kwa katika kukimbia juzi jana na leo hii ikawa au mwenzao mmoja hajaonekana. Kwa hiyo wao wamerudi, yule kijana mmoja hajaonekana, ambaye kijana yenyewe huyo ndo huyo ambaye ndo kuzungumzia hapa ni shemeji yake, na yule mwembamba yule mwingine naye vivyo ni mtoto wa babake mkubwa. Kwa hiyo kuna kama watatu hivi bado wanasikilizia swala hili. Kwa hiyo maana kwa kesho itakuwa sio kweli kuwapata.
The play creation process takes the back seat. Our team quickly shifts our focus to help find the missing boy. After consulting with Samuel, we decide the best way to assist is by providing financial support to the villagers leading the search efforts. Out of respect for the gravity of the situation, our cameras keep their distance from the group, capturing only what is necessary.
It's already too much. It's already like, here comes the Mzungu interrupting shit. And I don't want to, I want to be respectful of the process. And on the side, we can help. And yeah. Okay. Habari za saizi? I understand this is a very important situation and I'm not here to interrupt or disturb anything. I want to be respectful of what's happening here. So I just wanted to say we're very sorry for what has happened and the person who's missing, and we want to do whatever we can to help support the search for him, and then we go.
As a result, the first play creation sequence is delayed.
Vipi uko mzee Sanga, bado nitembee?
Vuta tu.
We return to Mloka, where 16 years after losing her child during childbirth, Asha lives with her husband Patrick. Before this clinic was built, the nearest free healthcare facility was 25 kilometers away in Nyamani, offering only basic services. The closest hospital, located 150 kilometers away in Utete, also provided limited care. For comprehensive medical treatment, villagers had to endure a grueling 6-hour journey over unpaved roads to Dar es Salaam, 190 kilometers from home.
Hisia kubwa inatukumbusha the Humanity Project, wakajenga jengo kubwa kwa tunapokuja hapa kila siku tunakumbuka fadhila za the Humanity Project. Ndio jambo ambalo
la msingi ambalo linatupa hisia kwa sababu tunapata huduma karibu. Sasa hivi akina mama wengi wanazalia hapa. Nashukuru kwa hilo.
I think even before the roof was on, but we were all standing together inside the clinic structure and had this moment of, if she doesn't tell that story, if he doesn't listen to that story, if he doesn't create that play, if he doesn't share it with me, then like none of this would happen. She's standing in what's going to be, you know, a maternity room where someone's going to give birth and not have to go through what she went through.
We were there at that opening day, and you could see Asha had like gotten herself into a position where she was kind of running things, and she was at the front door checking everybody in and giving the babies the medicine, and like you could see on her face how proud she was that this day finally came.
The first building on what is now the health center property was the maternity clinic, constructed in 2017 thanks to a fundraiser Michael and I held. The construction of the maternity clinic marked the beginning of the Humanity Project.
The budget for the clinic was less than $20,000. We did a fundraiser for I think around $20,000, and we raised double that.
We sent the money directly to Patrick, who then was like, you know, I'm going to make it all happen. I'm going to talk to the village government. I know all the people. I'm going to hire all local people to make this process happen. And we were like, okay, that seems right. And that is how we started the process. Looking back, this seems very naive and a little bit crazy to have done it this way.
Our risk not only paid off, it exceeded expectations. Inspired by the success of the project, government officials reallocated the equivalent of $400,000 to expand the clinic into a larger health center. The original maternity clinic, completed in 2017, now serves as housing for medical staff. Today, the health center campus boasts 8 buildings, providing comprehensive medical services to over 6,000 people. We meet with Dr. Godbless Simon Lufiagile, who has worked at the clinic since November 2020.
Distance traveling from here to the next centers was very difficult. And another problem is financial instability of the clients, the majority are being poor people, were not having insurances, so it was difficult for them traveling. Medical care services also the costs were very high, so it was difficult for them to access those kind of services in medical care. We are receiving from the aids from the government, so the service for the children and the pregnant mamas is almost free of charge. We have helped to reduce the number of infant deaths for more than 25%, we can say, since the initiation of the LSH clinics. We are still improving, and we are hoping that we can have safe motherhood and that people can enjoy life free of disease in the near future. Dada habari.
Dr. Godbless takes us to meet 3 of his current patients, starting with Jennifer.
Ndio. Una siku ngapi tangia umelazwa hapa? Siku ya pili. So this is our client. She has been here for almost 3 days. She had a high fever, and she was lethargic. And she had also generalized body weaknesses. After the investigations, she was found to have abortion, and now she was admitted and they kept under IV medication and IV fluids. And now she's doing better, and the progress is good.
We also met Witness and Letitia, who are both 8 months pregnant. Approximately 14 babies are born at the health center every month.
Nashukuru kwa sababu kama tukipata changamoto tunakuwa tuna rahisi kupata msaada tofauti na kwenda mbali zaidi.
Kwa sababu hata nikijisikia tatizo lolote nawahi hospitali.
After receiving permission, Dr. Godbless takes us into the delivery room, where 4 babies have been born just this morning.
Karibu!
We then learn their remarkable story.
4 wives,
Yeah.
and all delivered within a single day.
Oh.
No.
So the first one, the second one,
Wow.
the other ones are in the other facility.
One husband had 4 wives who all delivered in the same day.
And their sisters? The 2 mothers are sisters. Oh, wow. Oh, my God.
That is polygamy. Polygamy is not.
As our team eagerly awaits updates from the Msona Arts Group, we embark on the initial stages of the play development process, crafting our vision and preparing for the collaboration ahead.
Day 1, session 1 of devising this year's humanity project that we're going to work on with the Msona group.
What would happen if all the arts disappeared? You know, if suddenly like there were no arts, what would be? So from a perspective of our work here together over the last 8 years, the hospital disappears, the market disappears, the wells disappears.
After discussing the challenges raised by the Msona group and brainstorming themes and structure, we transition to writing exercises. Dividing into smaller groups, we draft and share initial pieces, marking the start of the devising process.
Hey, mustache, get over here. Why is this so hard? This is your job. 3 options, pick one, the end. What's going on?
Okay, this is a good start. But
forget it. And I suppose you said no to the next one because she has purple hair. What does purple hair represent?
Everyone around me, and I can feel that what it sounds like to each of them is loud, hot, cacophonous, clashing. On this side, and on this side, and on this side, and on this side. So, I guess I'll just keep listening. Long pause. Silence. She closes her eyes and starts to bop and dance to a rhythm only she can hear. The end.
That was nice. Yeah, like literally. Yeah, there's your new audition piece. That's it's like a monologue written for her. Just mind-blowing what great artists are able to do in such a short amount of, if given a short window, what can come out. Often a lot more powerful content than if you give people all day, because there's that tight, like, I gotta get this out. So it's like whatever's right there comes out. In our writing assignments, we did specifically incorporate what's going on currently with the Msona Group's challenges. So I think there's definitely some through line already there. I always like to impose the 24-hour rule on anything, give everybody a day to think on it and process, and then come back, and we'll be ready for sure to meet with the group tomorrow.
The plan is for the play to be performed in 4 days, as long as things stay on track with the Msona Group. The next day, we head back to Msona for a second meeting with the Muungano Group, this time joined by even more group members.
It's nice to see everyone again after 1 year. The first thing we want to say is we're very sorry to hear about the loss of the founder of the group. Any update on the search for the boy who was lost? He came back!
Kenda kutokea Selu Mloka, katokea mashambani Mloka. Amerudi.
He's okay or?
Iko safi kabisa. Mchana anatembea, usiku anapanda juu analala.
The collaboration is set to begin. The Tanzanian artists arrived prepared with 2 ideas for how this year's fundraiser could make an impact. The first is a transportation fund to help the arts group travel between villages. The second focuses on reviving the market project from 2 years ago, which requires additional support to function as intended.
But the government isn't doing enough to keep people from selling outside the market.
There are 2 villages in one. They are both called in Msona village.
The second branch, they want also their own market.
They want it to be as convenient for them as this one is for here. Oy, oy, oy. That's universal, whatever that was, right? Like, you don't need to translate that one. Binadamu kazi. We leave on Thursday, so Wednesday would be like the last day we could do this together, right?
The performance date is set for Wednesday. A few meters away stands the market built during a previous Humanity Project cycle. We visit to check on its progress and speak with the villagers who sell their crops there.
Mboga?
Lettuce?
This is spinach.
Oh, spinach? Oh,
Yes.
cool. Okay, I like spinach.
Shilingi 500.
Are those
500.
coconuts?
Coconut there. Mchicha. Scrumptious. So how many you want? They sell in bundles like this.
Just
Each 500.
500.
Yes.
Does she have
So you need mchicha and spinach, fish.
We buy some food and take time to talk with the villagers, hearing firsthand how the market project has improved daily life in the community.
Kabla ya soko kuwepo, nilikuwa napanga tu naweka kwenye beseni, naenda nakaa tu barabarani. Kwa hiyo nilikuwa nakutana na changamoto za vumbi, kuku, bata, wanachezea biashara yangu. Kwa maana hiyo nilivyokuja kupata soko, nashukuru sasa hivi nipo sehemu ya usalama, hata mvua kidogo inakuwa at least sisumbuki sana. Yaani kiufupi hii ndio biashara yangu kuu. Naendesha maisha yangu, nalisha watoto wangu, nasomesha watoto wangu na biashara. Kwa hiyo mara nyingi sana huwa nakuja hapa sokoni.
Kabla ya soko nilikuwa nauza mitaani. Baada ya kujengwa soko, nikaingia sokoni. Changamoto zilikuwepo. Muda mwingine nakutana na wauni tu wanamwaga samaki, alafu narudi nyumbani bila samaki, bila mtaji wote. Sasa hivi nauza sokoni, yani faida napata na naiona faida.
The 2 women proposed additional ideas to enhance its impact and make it even more effective for everyone.
Wengine huwa wakubali kuja kuuzia sokoni, wanauza mitaani, wanatembeza yani, ili wapate kipato haraka. Wanatembeza, wanachelewa yani.
Sababu inafika usiku muda mwingine. Wateja hata wakipita kule babani hawaoni. Tunachukua tochi zile ndogo ndogo. Yaani mfano kama hizi umeziona? Tunapachika na chupa juu. Kwa hiyo mtu anayepita kule kuona inakuwa vigumu. Sasa ukiwa na mwanga mkubwa hata anayepita babani anaona. Matumani nayo.
Kwa nini?
Kwa nini? Si ukishaweka umeme yani watu watakuwa na hamasika. Kwa sababu unaweka umeme yani inakuwa kama vile linaboreshwa fulani.
Okay.
Kwa hiyo mtu ana uwezo wa kukaa mpaka saa 4 anafanya biashara zake. Lakini ukiweka tochi tu hivi mtu anakata tamaa mapema.
We visit one of the 4 wells built through a partnership with the African Well Fund, co-founded by my mother, Diane Yoder. This well, located at the Maloka Primary School, replaced an old hand pump with an electric system, providing clean water to both the school and the surrounding community.
Prior to having the well, kids would come over and have to do the hand pump, put it in the bucket, have to carry the bucket all the way over to the toilets, which are over there, every time they wanted to use the bathroom. And so what was happening was that because they didn't want to go through all of that, they would just not go to the bathroom.
We also visit another well project in the village of Musona. However, when we arrived, the head teacher informs us that the pump has been out of order for the past 9 months. I quickly messaged my mother in the U.S. to ask if the African Well Fund can help finance the necessary repairs. The funding is approved, and within just a few days, the money will arrive, ensuring the well can be repaired without delay.
I don't know if it's because there are so many immediate needs and it's just, I don't know if there's a cultural barrier. I don't know if it's a, point of contact barrier or like where the breakdown is. There's a sort of a cultural thing where, you don't want to tickle the person holding the baby because then they might drop the baby. And then so people are resistant to saying anything, even though you think you're offering the space because, they're afraid to ask too much.
I think Rachel would probably agree that without her, very good chance I'm not around, and definitely without her, there's no Humanity Project.
He left for the first time in 2016. And so we'd been together for a while. We'd lived together. Honestly, during that time, I was really worried about Michael. He was just having a really hard time finding his place in the world. And it was a time in his life where his mental health was just like really in a challenging place, and it was really hard to watch. And I know that he was like searching for meaning. Watching his experience of that was just really, really tough. I felt like I couldn't do anything. So I happened to see just like an email come through from one of the actor listservs that I was in, and it was like, travel to Tanzania and make theater. So I forwarded it to him and I was like, hey, don't you know Kathleen Amshoff? Didn't you go to grad school together?
I reached out to that person and she said, oh, you would love this, you should do it. And so between Rachel and this other friend, I thought, okay, I'll try. You would think in that state of mind, there should have been no reason I would go. If there's no hope and there's nothing to do or reason to go on, why should I go? But I can't tell you exactly what it is, but I was just drawn here and pulled here.
Because he was dealing with depression and anxiety at the time, he had 2 panic attacks, which he had never had before.
2 days away from leaving for Tanzania, I'm thinking, how can I go? I call my aunt, who's a nurse. Through her and a doctor she works with, she's able to get me a little bit of some medications. I took the medication in the US before I left, a little bit, so that I could get there. But I never took any of it when I was here.
Almost immediately, he was like, this is the most incredible thing that's ever happened to me.
In just a few weeks in Tanzania, Michael begins to feel a profound sense of healing. The experience seems to restore him, lifting the weight of his struggles. When he returns to the U.S., he's filled with a renewed sense of purpose, to share Asha's story with a wider audience. What he doesn't realize is that this journey is about to transform both his life and mine in ways we never could have imagined.
The play that we created was then produced in New York, and so people could come see it, and Rachel came to see it. We finished the play. Rachel and I went to eat, and we're sitting talking about the play and my trip and my experience. I felt like we could really do something, not just the play and tell her story, but that we could do something about the need.
When he said that he had talked to people and he had asked, what would it take to build a hospital? Like how much is, like, could we do this? Like, how much would this cost? What would this take? And then he told me what the amount was. We had gone recently to a couple family weddings that were like easily like $100,000 weddings. And it's like, it's this one day.
We had been together for years, but for either of us, getting married was never really a thing. And out of nowhere, she says, why don't we just get married and we can use our wedding as a fundraiser to build the clinic? And And I said, did you just ask me to marry you?
I sort of didn't even consider that part because I was so focused on the other part. And I was like, wait, I think, yeah, yes, maybe. And then was like, what do you think? I don't know. And he was like, no, I think that's a great idea. We wanted to make it happen really quickly because obviously the need for the hospital was urgent. So yeah, I think less than a month to plan the wedding. And my mom would joke that she spent more time planning my 4th birthday party than she did planning my wedding, which is true. I made a list, I think, like on a napkin in the car of like, here's like the 10 people who should come, and my uncle will marry us, and my cousin will take photos, and it'll be at like, we'll just rent like a little room, and it'll be like very small and very intimate, and it's really about this other thing.
And then everyone else, we could say, we don't want gifts, we don't want money for a house or for a car. Instead, we want you to donate to this fundraiser and we'll use the money to go build this clinic. And within 30 days, we raised all of the money more. A month after that, we left for Tanzania for 3 months, which we called our honeymoon, to help actually build and construct the maternity clinic.
Rejection, the struggles, rejection, mockery, adoration, and hustles.
Back at the lodge, we focus on finalizing our part of the play. The performance will take place in 3 days.
Is often subdued, overwhelmed by the beautiful smiles and joy of my people whenever I make an artistic presentation.
We had 3 pieces initially and we cut 1 because 2 of the 3 pieces are similar in terms of their style and their vibe. They're a little more dramatic and serious. And the 3rd piece was a little on the comedy side. And it just felt like, while good, doesn't quite fit. And we imagine, based on what we know of the group and what they create usually, the kind of pieces, that it probably wouldn't fit with theirs either. Whereas this definitely will. The way we play wah is I'm the wah tree, then I send the wah. Jackson becomes the wah tree. Both people on the side chop Jackson down, then he throws it.
Wah, 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 wah,
wah, wah. This morning in Maloka, we kick off the day with our favorite theater warm-up game, Wah.
Wah, wah, wah.
Originally introduced by us, the game has quickly become a favorite among our Tanzanian collaborators, especially Jackson, who's now a master at it.
There's no individuals. We do everything together as a group, so this is a way of building that group sense of we're all working together.
Since 2016, Michael and I have returned to Tanzania every year, a place that has become our second home. Through our work on the clinic and other projects, we've formed a deep bond with our Tanzanian collaborators, a connection that feels like a second family.
Asha is 100% my sister. Even Joyce is my sister. Patrick and Samuel and Jackson and Kapandi are my brothers. Even just people I know in the street here, or some of the kids who, you know, call out our names when we go by. Mloka is my home, and everyone here is my family.
Michael's my brother and Rachel's my sister. I love them so much. These people mean a lot. They've done so much for me. The only difference that exists between them and me maybe is just the color of the skin, but I look at them like maybe they were born from the womb of my mother.
The conversations that I had with people here, and like the level of depth of discussion, depth of connection, depth of shared experience, that's family. That's a family relationship. It's special.
They are like my relatives. Yeah, because now it's almost like 8 years we have been together. For me, it's my relatives. When they go back to the US, we get in touch every day, every day.
Michael and I have also learned to speak Swahili, strengthening our ability to connect and communicate with our second family.
Habari za shamba?
Nzuri.
Safi sana. Niliona. Barabara.
Them is not just handing out help to the host communities or the local people, but it's to go as far as making the local people feel as though they're family.
Yale yale niliokueleza. Nawaona kama ndugu. Wamefikia mwa wanangu ndio mimi. Hasa nawaona upendo tu. Kwanza kabla hata mwaka ukikatika bila kuja, hata sisi roho zetu zinanyongea. Na kwanza namrudishia tena.
I know, now it's okay, but before.
Nimempokea kwa usafi, roho safi, tena safi safi safi, tumepata udugu na wazungu.
In the beginning, we faced some skepticism. This stemmed from past visits by Westerners who had made countless promises to the villagers in Maloka, but never followed through.
Sikuamini, nikaona kama uongo tu. Shazoea kupata vipipi, shazoea hivyo.
Sasa hapa umeyaona.
Nimeyaona, nimeyashuhudia kabisa na maana nimefurahi.
Ndio maana umefurahi. Kwa hiyo hata kama wakisema wanataka kufanya jambo jingine,
nakubalia sasa hivi, sipingi tena.
Mwanzo tulikuwa tunaona ni uongo, ni udanganyifu. Kwa sababu wazungu wengi walikuwa wanatudanganya. Wanaahidi vitu, hospitali watatujengea, labda shule ambazo za kujitegemea, na wanakuwa wafanikishi. Lakini baada ndo tukaja kuona maji kwa Mzee Sanga. Kwa hiyo hapa sasa hivi tunakuwa tunaamini, lakini tulishazoea wazungu wengi ni waongo. Wakitoka huko na vipipi wanafuata watoto wengi, wanakuwa wanafuatana nao kama ndo ni kuagea, ni kama zawadi. Walikuwa wanaongopa tu kutumia asilimia nyingi. Yani walisema kama kuna vitu baadhi utavipeleka hospitali. Kwa hiyo hapo tulikuwa tujajua vizuri uhakika. Kama wamevipeleka ndo tunakuwa tunazidi kuamini yani zaidi.
There have been and still are critics. We have no problem with that. We understand. I mean, so many people came before us that gave these critics a reason to be critical. We're only here for 8 years.
This is actually something that Asha and Patrick shared with us, that they started to get a lot of sort of negative attention when we first started working with them on the clinic project. And there was a little bit of like people in the village say, hey, how come you're working with these people and what's kind of going on there? And we were like, oh no, we're so sorry that we've opened you up to that. And something that Asha and Patrick said to us is, low understanding are going to talk a lot of talk, but we know what's going on and we know the truth and we know that our intentions are pure and that this is for the good of all of us. So let them talk.
Naturally, the question of the white savior complex arises. This criticism targets the actions and portrayals of white individuals who step in to save disadvantaged communities. Often when the narrative only highlights the positive actions of the Westerners without addressing the complexities or impact of their involvement.
A lot of white Westerners come and they really want, the desire is to connect with the kids. That's a pure desire. But the way in which it's done is often like, oh, we'll bring candy and we'll hand it out to all the kids and I'll take a picture of myself giving candy to kids and I will feel good about myself and it will go on Instagram. And then what have you really done? So you've given some sugar to the kids and all you're communicating is, oh, I am here and I bring you something. It's not about like a human experience or like a shared bond or like I've come and I sat with you and I came and I played with you and I came and I spent time with you.
There are also Westerners who, whether knowingly or not, impose their own ideas of how to help, disregarding the voices and needs of the very people that they claim to serve.
I don't think they suffer from the white savior complex because the approach that we use as the Humanity Project is an approach where we inquire from the host community to be able to tell us what their need is, and we do not impose anything on them.
Whenever there is a certain project, we sit down together and then we discuss. After discussion, and then they ask me, what do you think about it? Can we do it or we cannot do it?
We've traveled with people who have supported our work, and have had nothing but the truest, purest intentions and have really wanted to help. But some of the actions were very incongruous with that. And I'm sure that there are things that we have done that have come from a place of wanting to help that like perhaps have come across as like, oh, you're really going about that the wrong way. So I think it's, it is a challenge to navigate that, and anyone coming to a place that isn't their own, trying to help, needs to be in a constant practice of humbling themselves and checking themselves and asking the people around them, hey, am I doing this right?
I don't understand how something that seems so inherent. I mean, isn't it an inherent part of the human experience? Weren't we built to listen to each other?
Back at the lodge, we continue to refine our portion of the play. With the writing complete, Michael steps into the role of director, working with the rest of the team to shape the final staging.
You two can also pick moments where you notice each other. And when I say notice, that can be hear or see or both.
We've got something that makes sense to all of us artistically, that we're all kind of in the same heartbeat of, that we also have some opportunities for Msona group members built in, so excited to share that with that group and collaborate.
On the Tanzanian side, progress is also going strong. The Msona Arts Group has developed music and dance transitions to accompany their scenes. They now rehearse in front of a larger community audience, refining their performance.
Mimi leo natoa hela yangu ya bajeti yangu. Wafanye wawe na akili zao timamu, wawe na kusudia jinsi ya kuwasomesha watoto zao. Chukua mpelekee.
Now, we join the Msona group to rehearse, combining all of our pieces into one cohesive performance.
Right now, we'll show you our piece. It's short. It's only maybe 5 or 10 minutes. You can stay right here. I already figured out how we'll stage it. Then the beginning of their third piece can start with a little music, and that's like the transition.
How can I make them understand that all I hear from here is harmony? Why don't they know that the sounds they think don't belong together actually play a crucial part in a larger orchestra?
The interesting thing is that even though we created pieces separately, their piece that we saw today connects perfectly to our piece.
Though there are still a few final touches to refine, the piece is nearly ready. The performance is set for the following morning.
I've never been more confident about anything in my life because I've already seen what he's capable of doing, and I know what our group is capable of doing. So we are going to put an entire show together in about 72 hours, which I challenge anyone in the US to do the same.
Ni kweli na confidence, yani manake ni confidence, kwa lugha ya Kiswahili ni uzoefu, ni kujiamini. Pasi na shaka, kwa sababu msanii ni mtoa ujumbe. Msanii anaweza kuona tukio hapo hapo na muda huo akalichambua akafikisha ujumbe kwa jamii. Pasi na shaka, yani hata kama unaniamsha saa 11 nifanye kazi saa 2, kitakaa kitu clear na mwenyewe utapenda.
Kesho.
Tomorrow.
In addition to the construction and community development projects we've implemented in the villages of Msona and Maloka over the past 8 years, we've also focused on educational efforts, with a particular emphasis on empowering young girls. During this time, we've launched a scholarship program, established a partnership between a Tanzanian and an American school, and collaborated with the Mooncatcher Project, an organization providing reusable menstrual products to help girls in developing countries stay in school during their periods. Today, we reconnect with Samuel, who manages the partnership between Msona Primary School and Victor Primary School in Rochester, New York.
I'm going to show them the video which I received from a school in US, so that students in Msona can see the other students from US, what they are doing, if they are just singing or they are learning something, and them also they can do something like a show, and then I can send to US.
I am special. Look at me.
And after listening carefully,
I was a dog.
The students and their teacher decide to sing the Tanzanian national anthem as a heartfelt gift to share with their American pen pals.
Mimi sijaona sauti.
Hiyo sauti bwana, hapana.
Kuna sauti kule nje mnapiga kelele. 1, 2, 3, twende.
After a few rehearsals and some guidance from Samuel, they're now ready to send their video to their American counterparts.
1, 2, 3.
Iyo matunda
tunafanya kama sanaa fulani ya kujifunza kama shule, na napenda kwenda kutembea sehemu nyingine tofauti na Tanzania.
Walimu wa Tanzania tutajua jinsi gani wenzetu wanavyofundisha kule, kwa sababu mitaala ya Tanzania inatofautiana na mitaala ya kule Marekani. Kwa hiyo nafikiri tutakuwa tumejifunza kitu kikubwa.
I can see there is a light. School in Tanzania, especially Msona School, is a village school. And most of students, they don't know how to speak English. Partnership with that school, it will help them. And also all the teachers can learn how to teach.
Back in Maloka, we meet Tatu, one of the students who has received a full scholarship for her education through the Humanity Project. The first recipient was Joyce, Asha's daughter.
Mama aliniambia kuwa kule kwa babu Sanga kuna wazungu wamekuchagua kuwa ukimaliza darasa 7 unaenda kusomeshwa. Tunajifunza masomo mbalimbali, mfano Kiingereza, hisabati, Kiswahili, uraia, maarifa, sayansi. Alipenda somo la hisabati na Kiingereza. Hisabati ni kama mfano na uzaduka wa vipimo, unaweza kujifunza kwenye somo la hisabati. Nafikiria nitakuwa dokta na nitakuwa na watibu watu na nitakuwa na hapa huduma bora.
The first beneficiary of the scholarship program was, of course, Joyce, the surviving twin of Asha's tragic birth story that inspired the Humanity Project. After completing primary school in Maloka, 16-year-old Joyce is now finishing her education at St. Gertrude Secondary School in Mlandizi, a private boarding school located 173 kilometers and a 3.5-hour drive from her village. With graduation just a few months away, Joyce will soon return home to reunite with her family.
Are you excited to graduate?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then after you graduate, what's the next step?
I'm going home for holiday.
Yeah.
I'm just religion.
Joyce's favorite subjects are biology, chemistry, and English, and she dreams of becoming a pharmacist.
You understand the whole scholarship program, right? That we have donors that have donated money and fund the scholarship for you to go to school, right? Yeah? You understand that? Everyone who donates, they ask us all the time, like, how's Joyce doing? Like, maybe, like, they want to hear news from you. So, like, if you want, what would you want us to tell?
Thank you. Funds which people contributed to me for education, it changed my life. There are different challenges which I got in primary school when I was studying at Maloka. Teachers, they are not coming to teach in the class, knowing teachers who are coming to consult about any concern about your studies. First, when I start Form 1, my result is too bad because of language. My teachers and my parents, they didn't break my heart. They just emphasizing me. First, I had encouraging me more. Yeah, it changed me more because many people who have studied with them at primary school, nowadays, some of them they have childs, some of them are street children.
During our visit to Joyce's school, we take the opportunity to distribute reusable menstrual products for the girls, provided by the Mooncatcher Project.
And then that just goes like that, underskirt, and then each one has a little pad that goes in here, and then this can be washed and then hung up to dry.
Thanks to these sanitary products, the girls can continue going to school even during their periods. In Tanzania, the cost of sanitary products often exceeds a day's wage, forcing many girls and women to stay home for an entire week each month. This creates a major barrier to their education and opportunities.
Asante. Come back with us.
We returned to Maloka to meet with Fadili Demangula, who's been the head teacher of Maloka Primary School since 2002. He shares fond memories of Joyce during her time as a student there.
Alikuwa mwanafunzi mzuri darasani. Alikuwa anashiriki vizuri masomo darasani. Na alikuwa anafanya vizuri. Alikuwa na ushirikiano na wanafunzi wenzie. Na hata matokeo yake yalikuwa yako vizuri tu.
Haya, kaeni. Marako wenzetu wamefanya hivyo hapo wakapata nini? Yote, sawa eh? Ingia hapa, ingine tunajengwa pale. Wote tutakuwa tuna shida ya nini?
The toilets the teacher refers to are these, which were nearing completion during our visit. They're a direct result from the previous year's Humanity Project fundraising.
We have now the toilets is ready, so we are putting just some chambers outside to make sure that it's working, sending all the waste to the septic tank. And now you can see the plaster is ready. We are just, in a few days, we'll put the doors, and then everything will work.
The construction of the new toilets is now complete and ready for use by the students. Many of the students who helped tell the story through the original play also pitched in during the building process.
Kulikuwa na vyoo pale na ilikuwa wakati fulani tunafanya maintenance ya vile vyoo. Pigwa sakafu mpya, pigwa rangi, lakini ilikuwa ni wakati fulani ni ujio wa mwenge. Baada hapo vile vyoo vikawa vimetitia. Sasa baada ya kutitia tukawa tumetoa taarifa katika maeneo yetu ambayo ni ya kazi. Baada ya hapo tukawa wamesema tu kwamba watasaidia ujenzi. Kwa hiyo kwa kuwa nini za serikali huwa zinachukua wakati mwingine muda mrefu.
The collapse of the toilets had become a major challenge for both the students and teachers living on site at the school.
Vilikuwa umara wake sio mzuri sana, pia kama ile miti unaweza mvua ikanyesha kubwa sana, ule mti kama unadondoka wakati unaenda chooni.
Kwanza tulikuwa tunaweza tukienda chooni naweza kukutana na vidudu vya magonjwa ambavyo vinatoka chooni. Wengine naweza kutuletea madhara.
Kwa tunapata madhara ambayo ukienda chooni unaona kama kizunguzungu, unataka kuanguka. Muda mwingine vyoo vilitikitia kama vinataka kudondoka, ila ulivyotujengea vyoo vipya tumeona afadhali.
We worked with the students to create a play that brought attention to the need for new toilets. The students performed alongside our artists, and we filmed the production to share with our donor base.
We created a play about the school's need for toilets. It was pretty adorable because all of the students wanted to play the toilet. They were really excited about that.
They'll be able to see the power of theater and the power of storytelling because they're the ones who raised the issue to us. And when they see the connection of, hey, we raised our voices and said we have this need, and then we created a play, and that play led to the toilets, you know, what does that start to mean?
It's the day of the show.
Excited! Ready for the show.
Very ready for the show. Let's take it down.
We will begin with one final rehearsal to seamlessly integrate both pieces. But first, we travel out to the location Juma has chosen for the event. And it's no simple journey.
Kwa sababu ile sehemu yenyewe na maana sisi tulikuwa ndio sasa hivi. Nyinyi mje kufika. Hata kufika yeye labda ndo kafika. Hata siku moja.
This year, Juma has chosen a truly unique location he believes will bring the story alive. But getting there is no easy feat. It's a rugged journey, and trees must be cut down with machetes to clear the path. We reach a point where the journey is no longer possible by car, and we need to continue on foot.
Nimefuraha kukuona tena. Tembea sana.
Once we finally arrive, it's time for the final rehearsal before the performance begins.
mwanangu. Mvua ananyesha. Mvua huyo ananyesha.
Sasa nikaombe pale msaada kwanza. Nikaombe msaada.
Lakini ndio zidi mvua inanyeshea tu. Sasa amemchukua nikawaamba hajakubalia, wamempiga, wamemtia mpaka chini kaanguka.
Nakuelewa kiongozi.
Haya. Saini kwanza. Jumatatu waje shule.
Sawa.
Yaani ili nje ya onyesho ile eneo ni eneo la wafugaji pamoja na mashamba ya wakulima. Kwa hiyo kipindi hiki wafugaji wametoka wameelekea eneo karibu na ukanda wa maji. Kwa hiyo liko free na ndio maana tumekuja kufanya. Lakini ile ikifika msimu wa kilimo wananchi wao wanavamia na kufanya kilimo na shughuli zingine zinaendelea. Hili sehemu ni sehemu nzuri iliyotulia. Alafu pia ni kuna mandhari mazuri ya wenzetu wanaweza wakaangalia. Na tumependa uhalisia, kuna uhalisia na mazingira tunakuja kuyafanya, kuna uhalisia na ndio maana tumekuja katika eneo hili.
Recent droughts have made farming and crop maintenance increasingly difficult for the villagers living in Sona. This struggle inspired last year's collaborative play and project. Now, the villagers bring Michael to visit the future site of the irrigation project, for which the Hour Loop has successfully completed fundraising. To reach the site, we opt for a very traditional mode of transportation.
The ride?
Yes.
Amazing. Terrifying and amazing. So we just took the canoe across the river to the carved out tree to the other side, and we're walking to the farmland where the irrigation system is going to be.
After a few more minutes of walking, we finally reach the site. Right now, the area remains untouched, but once the village receives the funds from the fundraiser, work can begin to clear the land and kickstart the irrigation project.
Mzunguko wote huo wastani wa mwezi huu mmoja, kwa sababu tunaweza tukafanya wiki ya kwanza kuangusha miti. Kinachofuata sasa tutakuwa tunacharanga hiyo miti kwa maana ya kuweka matuta sasa ili ikauke. Hapo kwenye kukauka sasa ndio kutachukua muda kidogo.
Na hivi kakauka ngoja. Hii miti ya mwezi mkaikata mkao mnairundika sehemu moja
kwa kuweka matuta.
Ili baadhi ya maeneo mengine yawe tayari yaanze kulimwa.
Hilo linawezekana.
Wiki 3.
Safi kabisa.
Amidst the group of men, Mama Alphonse stands quietly, her presence a testament to her influence. It was her powerful voice in last year's meeting with our group that sparked the creation of the irrigation project, a change that will directly impact the future of the community.
Kutokana na maisha tulivyokuwa tunaishi na jinsi hapa kijiji kilivyokuwepo, hatuna kazi maalum ya kutegemea kupata mtu mshahara zaidi ya bwawa na mvua inyeshe. Baada ya mimi mwenyewe hali ya njaa inanikumba na familia zingine hapa kijijini zinawakumba, endapo mvua kama inakuwa inyeshi, tunakuwa na hali ngumu mno. Mtu unatamani hata ili mchanga kiwe chakula, na jinsi ya kupata hela huu ngumu, huwezi kupata. Wakisema wende polini ndio hivyo, hali wanarudi hivyo hivyo ukame. Lakini tukipata kilimo cha umwagiliaji, hata wale watoto ambao wanatumia kuiba kipindi kile kwenye mahoteli, atapata hata ajira huko, hata kuchuma mboga ili mradi wanapata hela nini.
It was also Mama Alphonse who first proposed the idea for the market project several years ago, laying the foundation for a major community transformation.
Ndoto nilokuwa nayo toka mtoto mpaka nakuwa, kwa sababu hali ngumu ili tukuta toka tuko wadogo na mpaka sasa hivi bado ipo. Maji tunayo, tunashindwa kuyatumia.
The connection there was, we're not going to have anything to sell at the market if we don't have any crops because of the drought. So it seems to be that there needs to be some intentionality behind inviting women's voices into the space sometimes, but often the women in the community are the ones looking out for the larger whole, and they're the ones looking out for everybody versus just a few.
Every project that we've done in this humanity project cycle, the maternity clinic, wells, market, irrigation system, hospital, toilets, everything. Though many people in the village had ideas about what projects we should work on, ultimately the projects that we have chosen to work on every year, because they are the ones that serve the most people, not just one or two people, were all ideas presented or raised by women. it's safe to say most women really are more concerned with helping as many people as possible, and men seem to generally be a little more concerned with, like, how can I help myself or a smaller group of people.
The next major project for the Outer Loop and our team is an arts and cultural center in the village of Maloka. The 5-hectare plot will be divided into 4 main sections: a stage for music, dance, and theater performances, a cultural exhibit where the area's tribes can showcase their traditional ways of life, a museum for exhibitions and workshops aimed at the local school children, and a cooking area for local chefs to share their culinary traditions.
This is a very convenient location because we're very close to all of the camps in the area. And oftentimes, you know, it's not necessarily that the tourist wouldn't want to come into the village. It's just there's not currently something happening in the village that feels like it's for them. If they're not going to take a walking tour, we're going to go obviously to all of the camps and let them know, hey, this is a new thing that you can bring guests to, tourists to be able to come eat, buy art, witness art, and see the cultural exhibit as well. And we had cleared a portion of
After construction was delayed by the COVID-19 pandemic, the project is now back on track. In just 1 year, the Arts and Cultural Center will be open and generating income for the village.
You have kids doing a theater workshop on the stage over there with professional actors. You have the Msona group of dancers and musicians playing music over there and doing a performance for some of the tourists coming from the camps. You have people eating lunch that's cooked by the cooks and local chefs. You have people buying art and actually doing the art here. You have painters painting and people buying their paintings. You have people carving out of wood little gifts that people want to take home.
There's a lot of tourism dollars that come like sort of right in the vicinity of Maloka, and none of that money ever makes it into the village. They'll fly straight into the park, the national park. They'll stay in the park. They'll just see the animals and then they fly home, and they've never seen the people who live here. So there's all this tourism money that's not making its way to the people who live here.
All of the previous projects were, you know, like survival projects, a hospital, well, a market, and this is art. It's not food that I put in my mouth, it's not water that I drink, it's not toilets that I need to go to the bathroom, but art and education and culture is just as much, we need that just as much to survive as a human race as we do food and water.
The moment we've all been working towards is here. The show is about to begin.
Kajua kanawaka. Mke wangu. Muda huu tena kwenda kwa shamba, kaniletee chakula changu ndani.
Mume wangu. Mume wangu. Vyakula hivi.
Napokupendaga mke wangu kwa madiko sijapata. Kwa kweli. Watoto shakula?
Mzee.
Nani huyo?
Habari baba. Za asubuhi.
Salama. Nani?
Mwanao. Shikamoo.
Wewe kijana, shamba umekwenda leo?
Mimi mzee bana, masuala ya shamba mimi siyawezi.
Wewe unaweza kunijibu hivyo mimi babako? Unaweza kunijibu hivyo babako? Una mtoto na mwanamke wanakula nini hapa? Miaka yote wewe unataka mimi nifukopeshe ulishi nyumba yangu. Unaweza kunijibu hivyo wewe? Nakuuliza mwenye nyoko, unaweza kunijibu hivyo mimi wewe?
Baba kunijibu hivyo? Baba mimi nishakuelekeza lakini.
Unaelekeza nini pumbavu wewe?
Sawa mzee, lakini mimi
unalingia kidaftari chako, una maisha gani ya kisanii? Kisanii kitu gani?
Mimi nakuangalia sana, unagombana hata na mzee kuhusu kulima kwa ajili ya sanaa yako.
Yaani kaka, yani nilivyotoka na huko nimechanganyikiwa mzee, daftari langu kachana na mambo yangu. Kaka naye nakuja mshauri wangu leo unanivunja nguvu.
Naye kusaidia kitu mdogo wangu nikwambie. Mshauri kutoka kwa ajili ya sanaa.
Wewe bana bro, kama unaenda shamba sawa, wewe nenda shamba, mimi na mambo yangu. Mimi habari ya shamba siziwezi bana.
Asante. Unaishi wapi?
Hapa naishi hapa.
Kama kawaida. Ungependa nikufanyia nini?
Mimi na lengo langu na kusudi langu, mimi mwanamuziki. na kipaji. Kwa hiyo chochote utapotaka kunisaidia, mimi nitashukuru.
Tutafanya masiara.
Asanteni na nyinyi.
Asante.
Kwa upande wetu tunajisikia furaha kwa sababu tumefanya kitu ambacho tulikuwa tunakiomba tufanye. Na tumeshirikiana na wenzetu, tumefanya pasi na shaka. Kwa hiyo tunashukuru kila siku mnavyozidi kuwa na sisi tunazidi kupata uzoefu.
Mimi nasema nimefurahi. Kweli tumecheza move. Pamoja ndio hivyo mafunzo yetu yanakuwa tusio kusema labda tuseme kila tukikaa mwezi tunapiga, lakini inakuwa sio hivyo, lakini tunakaa baada ya muda kama hivi tukishakusanyika tukiwepo pamoja tunashirikiana tunapeana mawazo, kweli tunafanya kitu kilichokuwepo kwenye mstari. Kwa hiyo nimefurahi.
Kwa upande wetu sanaa ni nuru kubwa sana kwa upande wetu, kwa sababu hapo awali tulikuwa hatufahamu chochote, lakini toka aliyofika Mr. Michael na kampuni yake tukawa tumeelewa kwamba sanaa ina maana. Tulikuwa tunashatukuona katika video, tulikuwa tutegemea kama na sisi tutajaribu kufanya. Sanaa ina umuhimu kwa upande wetu kwa sababu imetuletea manufaa makubwa.
Katika maonyesho ambayo ninaocheza mimi, hawa mchezo na ucheza huu, naonesha huko nilikotoka na huko ninakokwenda. Naona nimetoka kwenye ujinga na kwenda kwenye ujanja ambao kwenye maisha yalikuwa mazuri.
Asanteni sana. Kazi nzuri sana. What you do for our hearts and for our purpose as artists, nothing else does that for us. So we can't thank you enough for the opportunity to get to work with you.
I've witnessed an evolution of the place that arts have in this community the more and more that we come back and continue to work with the artists here. First couple of years we came particularly working with the school children. We would say, what does everybody want to be when you grow up? And we would hear mostly teacher, doctor, pilot. Those were kind of the only three answers we would get. And then after we started working here, we started to hear when we would come back in subsequent years, I want to be an artist.
So since 2016 now, we've been coming back every year, so about 8 years, minus the COVID year. We've been coming back every summer, and we've created, what we call the Humanity Project cycle, where we come and we listen to the needs of the community that year, and then we create a play that tells the story of that need. We come back, fundraise, and fill the need. So for 8 years we've been doing that. We feel like we'll do this forever as long as we can continue to successfully fundraise. Our friends and family here hope for the same, because every time we leave, everyone says, please come back next year. And if I'm looking into the future, I see myself as like a very old man, like a babu, as they say here, a grandfather. In this village, still looking around and what can we do to help?